And I'm sure you're aware of kind of the idea that you should, some people preach the idea of switching companies every 2 or 3 years, and that's going to have the most, financial impact for your salary. What's kind of your take on that approach? How often do you think you should do it? When do you think should it be to the point where you're like, hey, I think I'm undervalued? Do you think it's just a good idea in general to kind of put some feelers out there and say, hey, what is somebody else that's my age, has my career experience? What are they worth? Am I getting underpaid?
Yeah.
Does this need to be a conversation, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it kind of just depends on, it's a cop-out answer, but it depends. It depends. I think everybody's circumstance is a little bit different. I think if you feel like you're underpaid, and there's ways to see that, you can look at BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics data for your industry and your region. You can look at Indeed, Glassdoor. If you feel like you're underpaid and you have comps, and there's also Reddit salary surveys for engineers. If you're not familiar with that, just search Reddit salary survey for engineers and it'll pop up. But if you see that you are out of market, especially if you've been if you knew it from the beginning going in, or if you've been at the same employer for, I'd say 2-3 years, and you're not averaging more than a 5% increase, then at a minimum you should definitely be looking for that. But everybody's circumstance is different. You place different values on different things. Some company may not be giving you as much raises now, but you might be in a point in your career where you're getting a lot of experience and you feel like that's the right place and you're making enough money to live, and that's okay. Maybe still look, but that's whenever it comes into, okay, I've looked, is this something that I would actually leave for? So let's go back to your original question. When should people be looking? I'd say if you feel like you're underpaid, definitely be looking. And I'd say,
I agree,
if you haven't looked in 2 years, look. And if you haven't looked in 5 years, really look. And as for like changing employers, I mean, yeah, you are going to, in the short term, make more money whenever you hop from company to company, because they know they need to pay you more money to hire you. So as long as you're growing your skills along with that role progression, you're in a position where you believe you're ready for that next step up, and you're not getting it with your current employer, that's a good time to hop from one to another. You might do an up hop or a lateral hop, and then they promote you. There's just so much nuance to the situation. I wouldn't recommend a one size fits all approach to it. Yeah.
No, I agree. And I think money is such just a tunnel view vision of it, right? Because there's so many aspects of it, right? So, what happens if they had asked you to travel a lot? Well, you're a family man now, right?
Yeah,
so,
I'm a dad.
So you want to be home a lot more, right? Or maybe health benefits is a big thing for you, right?
Yep.
And some people that's a big deal. And so there's just so many different nuances of, okay, yeah, maybe the money's a little bit better, but what am I sacrificing here, right? Maybe there's a better work-life balance. Maybe they're like, they don't mind so much if you leave early on a Thursday or every day to pick up your daughter or whatever. But
and that was something I had to consider in this situation. I had some tenure with Zachary that it gave me a little bit more PTO than what I was going to take whenever I moved over to HDR, and that ended up being kind of the final domino to fall. It's a point of discussion that we had to go back and forth on pretty extensively for them to offer a solution within their policies that was acceptable to me. And I was doing a decent bit of travel in my current role, and I definitely have an appetite for a little bit less travel right now, which is funny because younger in my career, I wanted to travel all the time. And then the minute that I have a kid, they're like, we got you in this role, and if you want to travel, you can go do that. This conversation.
And now it's like, no, I don't want to.
I don't want to go anymore.
Right.
Which is, no, that's not anybody's fault. That's just, that's just the nature of how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
I'm miscommunicating. I just made a pilot, then they threw me on the stations. Nah, I'm not complaining. Nah, I'm not complaining. My thoughts get complicated. I cannot explain in lameness. Never losing focus because I ain't chasing payments. Still playing in the basement while I'm working on arrangements. They heard the kid in 50 countries. Thank God that's amazing. But I'd rather thank Spotify. They put me on the station.